Xbox finally figured out how to make people care about them again. And almost immediately after, reminded everyone why they stopped caring in the first place. There was a brief moment there where it felt like Xbox had done the impossible. The showcase they had was fantastic, people were excited about their new direction, people were optimistic about the new CEO Asha Sharma, and people were saying things about Xbox that I haven't heard in literally years. There was a real joy there. There was a real chance to make Xbox great again. And for the first time in a very, very long time, Xbox felt like it was a company that finally had people rooting for it. Then, almost immediately after, a report comes out from Jason Schreier of Bloomberg that Xbox was preparing another round of major layoffs, perhaps the biggest one yet, with budget cuts, internal restructuring, and a complete reset of the entire business. And then it became obvious to literally everyone that despite the great showcase and despite the return to exclusives that they're claiming they have, it's clear that Xbox is still facing the exact same problems it always has. They spent $20 billion trying to buy their way back into relevance. They spent $70 billion acquiring Activision Blizzard, hoping that Call of Duty would save them. And somehow through all of this, they've ended up in a worse position than where they started. Hardware sales are collapsing, Game Pass growth has completely stalled, revenue is absolutely declining, studios are closing with more on the way, projects are being canceled, and now that very company that just delivered what many people are calling the greatest showcase in Xbox history is openly admitting that their business is not healthy. I sat here and made a video about Xbox a few days ago where I basically claimed that even though they put on a great show, they gave me absolutely zero reason to buy an actual Xbox. Because, if you guys don't know, of the 28 or so games that were shown at the Xbox showcase, all of them except for 2 are coming to PlayStation 5. And I'm a PlayStation 5 owner. And yes, I do play majority on PC, but guess what? Of the 28 games shown, all of them are coming to PC. So of those games, why would I buy an Xbox? If there's no direct reason for me to buy an Xbox, then I will not buy an Xbox. I mean, technically Gears and Clockwork Revolution are console exclusives, but because they're still available on PC, I don't need to buy an Xbox. So while they showed great games and they showed that they're capable of potentially putting out great games, but it's also something that they've done before, Xbox is honestly pretty good at putting out really good trailers. They've done a good job in the past of making you extremely interested in their lineup of games, and when those games come out, they almost always fall flat. Xbox has been on a hot streak of releasing incredibly mid games, dude. Like, I'm talking 7 out of 10s, 6 out of 10s. Sure, Forza is rated as one of the highest games of the year. It's a racing game. I'm not blown away by it. But when it comes to everything else, it's like there's potential, but it never really hits that high mark. I'll just say, I thought Hellblade 2 was stunning. But anyway, let's get back to the main story here. And the main story is that Xbox clearly has no fucking clue what they're doing, man. They change strategy every 3 months where they just get this sudden idea of we're gonna do this and we're gonna go in this direction and everything is gonna be based off this. And then within 3 months' time, it doesn't work and they completely drop it and they go the total opposite direction, hoping that something will catch on. And now we have confirmation directly from the CEO of Xbox, Asha Sharma, that they don't know what's going on and that they have to do a significant overhaul to their entire company because nothing is working. Jason Schreier reports, Microsoft Corp's Xbox division is planning major job cuts next month as new CEO Asha Sharma overhauls the video game unit to stem declining revenue. The layoffs, the exact scale of which are not yet clear, are expected shortly after the close of Microsoft's fiscal year on June 30th. Xbox is also planning to significantly slash budgets for marketing and some other areas of the business. And this mainly comes from that the business is not in a healthy spot and that right now they have plummeted to a 3% accountability margin. Basically meaning that they're not making any fucking money, dude, and that Xbox is bleeding itself dry. And this is one thing that I brought up also before, basically saying that Xbox has had a really, really bad time. They've had quarter after quarter of profits dropping, of console sales going down, of game sales going down. It's been over and over and over again. And people leap to their defense to say, well, Microsoft is $1 trillion company. They don't care about losing money. You're out of your fucking brain. Every company cares about losing money. It doesn't matter if you're making money through other sectors. It doesn't matter if you have AI lined up that's taken all your whatever. You're hoping that it can turn into a multi-quadrillion dollar industry. The fact that Xbox spent $70 billion, the largest acquisition in the history of Microsoft, acquiring Activision Blizzard, in order to boost Game Pass to become the #1 subscription service in the world, and it failed. Nobody bought Call of Duty anymore because you could get it on Game Pass. That's a lot of money lost. And now they're pulling it from Game Pass. And now people on Xbox have been trained through years of Game Pass releases not to buy games anymore because you can just play them on Game Pass. They've literally directed you to do that. Don't buy our game for $79.99, for $89.99, because you could just subscribe to Game Pass instead. We would prefer you subscribe to Game Pass. All our games are day one on Game Pass. Don't spend money, just spend $10 on Game Pass. It's no wonder they're bleeding money. Excluding Activision Blizzard King, over the past 5 years, we have spent over $20 billion on ongoing investments in our content, platform, and hardware subsidy, but our annual revenue has declined nearly $500 million during that time. Going forward, this cannot continue. No doy, right? Like, come on, dude. Once a titan of the video game industry, Xbox has struggled to grow over the past few years. Sales at its hardware business have plummeted, it has failed to consistently deliver hit games, and the popularity of its subscription service, Game Pass, has plateaued. And then you have people saying like, Phil Spencer was the problem. Phil Spencer didn't know what he was doing. He was leading Xbox down the wrong path. We need Aisha Sharma to come in, and she's already made 100 excellent decisions. She clearly knows what she's doing. She's doing things that are good PR moves that make people go, wow, Xbox, wow, this is all you needed. All you needed was some new leadership and everything will be right again. Everything will be course corrected. The future of Xbox is secure. It's not fucking secure. They're running on fumes, dude. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. Did you know that at the PlayStation State of Play, the trailer that we got for Halo at the Xbox showcase was supposed to be at the State of Play, and there was a last minute pull to take that trailer off because Xbox thought it would be bad for their brand? Yeah, no shit, dude. Your most iconic character you ever had on Xbox, you're advertising it fully on PlayStation. And then you think, oh, maybe this is a bad idea for us. Are you stupid? And then they pull Gears of War E-Day off PlayStation 5, where there is a PlayStation 5 version out there. It exists, dude. That game was 100% fully developed for PlayStation 5. There was PlayStation 5 pre-orders, and then even right after the showcase, they did an Xbox podcast, and in the Xbox podcast, they showed a splash screen that said Gears of War E-Day is coming to PlayStation 5, and had to correct themselves, because it's classic Microsoft, classic Xbox, constant shifting of messaging, constant wires getting crossed, constantly one person on the leadership team saying one thing, and then somebody else says something else, and that person has to correct them, then this person has to correct their statement. It's a just nonstop back and forth of mismanagement, wires crossed, bad communication, bad everything, dude. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. People look at Sony and think they wasted all this money and all this time chasing live service trends. Xbox has fucked themselves over for like 15 fucking years, dude. Don't worry about what Sony's doing with live service. Worry about whether Xbox is going to continue to exist as a hardware. I think they'll exist as a third-party publisher for sure. They own enough studios. I mean, according to these cuts, somebody's getting cut. I don't know who it's gonna be. Maybe Compulsion. I don't want it to be Double Fine, but it might be. I don't want anybody to get shut down because I don't want anybody to lose their job. I always want there to be the potential of these studios making incredible games. And with Xbox's support and their backing, they had that option. The problem is that it never seemed to turn out. Arcane put out Redfall. Garbage, dude. South of Midnight. It's fine. It looks really nice, but it's a 7 out of 10, dude. It's fine. There's just been so many chances with everyone at Xbox, and they can't seem to get a single thing right. They make these decisions to appease their audience, hoping that it's the right move, but they know it's not the right move. You think Gears of War being console exclusive is gonna sell Xboxes? Let's be real, dude. You think it's gonna sell more Xboxes? It's not. It's really not. Gears doesn't have the same type of investment that it used to. People aren't going crazy for Marcus Phoenix like they were 12 years ago or longer. Like, I don't understand. Then in an email to the staff, Sharma reiterated that Xbox is facing a component crisis and that by the 2027 holiday season, she expects the company to be paying 5 times as much for storage and memory components as it did in 2024. As a result, she said that they will have to change their overall strategy for the next-gen console, codename Helix. While the entire industry is facing a component crisis, we believe we have been impacted more greatly than many of our peers due to the choices we have made over the last half-decade. We are currently unable to make as many consoles as players want to buy, and we need a new business model. And partnerships for hardware as we remain committed to Helix. Now here's the thing. You know who's responsible for a lot of those component costs rising? Microsoft. By going so deep into AI and spending all their money and resources trying to go full AI. Let's push AI, let's push Copilot, let's push Cortana, all this bullshit. You're hurting your own company in the process, by the way. And not only that, this then makes me second guess Helix, because the rumors about Helix are that it was supposed to be basically a super console / PC hybrid, and it was going to be probably the most powerful console ever because it was basically going to be a PC. And now it seems like that's not going to happen anymore because the thing will cost $2,000 and nobody's fucking buying a $2,000 console. So what are you going to do? Are they going to go back to the cloud gaming route and they're going to really push this digital only device that is fully built off of cloud so that you don't have to spend as much to get into the ecosystem? But then again, if it's a digital only thing that I have to then stream from, well, that means they're trying to get me on Game Pass, which means they're trying to not get me to buy a full priced game, which means they're losing money again. So it seems like no matter what they're doing, they're fucking up. And the overall solution to the problem kind of seems that Xbox just needs to give up the hardware space, dude, or really tone it down. Don't go full console, go this streaming device. If that's really what you want to do, just do that, because it's just not going to work, man. The way that they've set themselves up, it's not going to work. They made the biggest mistake they've ever made in the Xbox One era. And that decision back then to completely fuck over that system and to completely fuck over all the fans of Xbox in that moment has set them back entirely. So far back that they clearly can't catch up. Clearly. PlayStation 5 has sold almost 100 million PlayStation 5s. Xbox has sold like 27 million units in the same amount of time. What the fuck is going on here, man? They thought by putting out a 30-minute showcase of Fable that we would be impressed. And honestly, we were. I was impressed. I think Fable looks excellent. And they put out a 30-minute gameplay segment of Halo, and it looks fantastic. And then they want to put this news out with it, hoping that people would be distracted by the gameplay and that they wouldn't notice that you're about to fuck up every fucking thing you got going on in some sort of restructuring, a whole big reset. We want to be a competitor of the big three. We just don't want to spend any money doing it. It's not going to work. Listen, when I talk about stuff like this, people say, you're a PlayStation fanboy. I love PlayStation. I think PlayStation is great, but I'll tell you straight up, I only play my PlayStation to play the PlayStation exclusive. That is the only time I touch that console. Only. I play on Steam 99% of the time. And then occasionally I play games on Game Pass. But if you wanted me to play on Xbox, you'd need to make it worth it. And right now you're not making it worth it. And from everything that this says, that this article says, that Jason Schreier is saying, and that Aisha Sharma is saying about the future of Xbox, it's looking really bleak, dude. Some of your favorite studios might be getting shut down. Some of your most anticipated games in development might be getting canceled. And this bid to try and bring back exclusivity, not gonna work, dude. I have a big feeling that Gears of War E-Day is gonna come out and not sell almost any copies, and it's going to release on PlayStation 5. It's basically a timed exclusive right now. Xbox players don't buy games. We already know that. Xbox knows that, which is why they stopped reporting sales numbers and they started only reporting player numbers, because then they could base it off of Game Pass. Xbox spent so much money to try and take over the industry, and somehow all they've done is fuck it up more for everyone and themselves. I guess we'll see what happens within the next few months, but this is not the follow-up that they should have had to the showcase. By coming out being like, here we are, we're Xbox, we're ready to go, dude. Look at our games. Look at us, the potential future of Xbox. Oh, yeah, remember we sent out those Project Helix shirts and those gift boxes to all the PR people and everything? Yeah, who knows about that anymore? Oh, remember those games? Yeah, who knows about those anymore? Oh, remember those studios that we bought? Yeah, who knows about those anymore? But don't worry, we got it figured out. You don't got shit figured out, and you're running on fumes, and you're almost out of money, and it's not a good look, man. Really not a good look. This is bad for Xbox, and honestly, it's kind of bad for the industry. It's going to get worse.